The single biggest driver on our growth has been that we just focus on one thing. We focus on the hosting and do that super well.
We took a strategic decision to only focus on qualified hosting and expand into the United States, which has turned out to be very good for us. We deploy each site according to a blueprint, which makes it much easier to manage.
How we scale in this super fast pace is that we make sure that we do the right hires, we get the right customers, we don't jeopardize company just getting the wrong customer, but the long-term customer that we know that we can work with for years and years and years. And that everyone, from me as a CEO and founder, and to everyone in the company to really know the customer and know exactly what the customer does and how they work.
It means that we need to have redundancy in place everywhere, including technical redundancy, organizatory redundancy, and supplier redundancy.
The true redundancy means that everything is minimum duplicated. We try to have servers, switches, routers, fibers, everything needs to be duplicated so it can't fail. Also that we don't put all eggs in one basket. Every data center in the US is individually separated so that they just physically cannot go down together. It will just work. On the disaster recovery, we have managed to really squeeze the price for that to a very affordable levels so that we can provide a disaster recovery that doesn't cost millions or even hundreds of thousands. What we've done with disaster recovery is to have just a small server set up with bandwidth, with DDoS protection, and have that super affordable rate to handle disaster recovery for most any company in this industry. But that's only the database replica. And then we can also add on more VMware resources when and if there is a disaster to scale up. What we can offer compared to the hyperscalers is having a super personalized to what you as a customer actually need, not to what the hyperscalers have the biggest profit on, makes the most money, to actually what the customer needs and how we can facilitate that in the most and best cost-efficient way.
We can offer bespoke solutions and adapt it to the customer's requirements. It is that they need to be hosted in states, and Internet Vikings are open to open up new states as they go along, together with our customers.
The biggest challenge we see is disaster recovery, redundancy, and be able to do active disaster recovery. It's a really tricky thing to do, especially if you have hundreds of thousands of bets per hour to do full, true disaster recovery with databases, with applications, with key value storage. Like it's so many technical complexity to do it. It's huge, and I think that's the biggest challenge, and that's what we try to help our customers with as much as we can. One learning that we have learned over these 20 years, always make sure that the value we give to the customer, it's there. Because that's how we get long-term customers. They work with us for a year, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. Because you need to figure out so that the customer also makes money. You don't overprice anything, you don't try too many things. It's just that perfect sweet spot, what the customer really wants. I would say just do it. Do it and start doing it in one state, one country, and work from there. That's how we did it. We just went in, started doing it, look, okay, what can we do? How does it work? It takes hours and hours to learn, but I did that personally, just to understand regulatory framework so that we can help not only ourselves, but also our partners with it.